Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, bringing you all of your real estate news for the past 25 years on this station, letting Central Floridians know what's going on in the market, where is inventory at, how hot is the market, how long will it stay hot, how do you get your house ready to sell, how do you sell your house in this environment, and go buy your next home. And I've got the mortgage expert, everybody knows, the Lone Ranger, Bruce Woodburn.
Yeehaw!
And just talking about numbers this week, Bruce, we got some good numbers on inventory. It's still very low, like a 2 to 3 week supply, depending on what your price range is. And if your price range is around that starter price, that median price, probably only a 1 week supply. You've got to be in the door with a fast-tracked offer, or you've got a cash guarantee you can give people now, right?
I do have a cash guarantee. We can back your offer up with cash. We've got a program called Cash Plus. It's better than cash.
Yep.
Because I'll buy the house even if the buyer backs out. I'll still go through with the transaction.
Yep.
So they just pay me a fee to put my money up. I'll put my money up, and that deal will close. I can guarantee that seller that we will close. If the buyer doesn't close on it, I close on it.
Well, that's what they want to know in this kind of market. And it's just to get your offer through. I got a bunch of offers on a listing yesterday, and it just amazes me how half of them didn't have pre-qual letters with them at all. And then about 25%, the pre-qual letters were very vague and not, basically meant if the buyer's not lying, I think you can get a mortgage.
Right.
And
we still see a lot.
There was a couple with conditional pre-approvals, but nothing that was totally underwritten like you do with a fast track.
Right. Well, fast track is a full underwritten approval. I mean, most pre-approvals are written by a loan officer who's commission-based. So, of course, they're motivated to say yes, right? They think that the deal's going to go through until their underwriter gets a hold of it and goes, what were you thinking? Right? Do you not understand your own guidelines? So these are the kind of things that we do to avoid those issues. And if you're fast track approval, I can offer you a lot of extras. Not only can I do the Cash Plus offer, but I can do an extended lock up to a year if you're in new
on a resale home.
On a new like you would only need it on new construction.
Okay.
But if you needed if you're uncertain and you just went under contract with a builder and you don't like what interest rates are going to do in a year from now, because now we're actually hearing we could hit double digits. So why not lock it in advance? So I can lock into up to 1 year, or I can do a lock and shop. So that if you don't even have a house yet, but you're fully approved on Fast Track, I can go ahead and offer you a rate guarantee up to 90 days. Go out and find the house. You got 90 days to close.
What you need. And when you're shopping for that house, here's the important part. If you got a house to sell, you need to call me at 407-352-8118. It's 407-352-8118 because I'm getting people a couple months in their home to look. I had some people that were
you mean as a lease back?
A lease back.
To give them a cushion.
Because if your offer says, I'm making you a great offer on your house, and it's contingent on my home closing, which is totally in a normal market,
right.
But we're not in a normal market.
Not selling, but closing.
Closing. I have a contract. I have a buyer. That doesn't work because there's 5 other offers probably that don't have that contingency.
No.
They're living with the in-laws, they've already gotten approved to buy without selling. You can do that for people too.
Absolutely.
We've had a couple customers line that up. But the important thing is to know how to navigate this market. And so if people want to get fast-tracked and get that cash guarantee, how do they do that, Bruce?
Well, they've got to apply at WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. You will need to supply all of your documents because in order for me to make that guarantee, I have to know that the client is fully approved. That means nothing missing, not a pay stub, a bank statement, not even your photo ID. I need every bit of it so that I could physically underwrite the loan as if you were in contract and closing next week. So that way everything's done. Then I can offer you extended lock and shop, or my Cash Plus offer.
Yep. I mean, this is what you need to be prepared with some of the best professionals on your side. I just had somebody, they sold their big ranch they had in East Orlando. We got them over to Canaveral on the coast, on the water. Beautiful condo, downsizing from 4,000 square feet and 4 acres to 2,200 square feet, beautiful waterfront condominium. And we handled it because they were able to coordinate this. And you did the financing and got them approved without selling. And then we got their house. I got multiple offers on it and got them like 104% of list price.
That one went back and forth a few times. There's a few hiccups along the way, but we got that thing done because they had plenty of money. They just had to sell. So we had to figure out a way to make it so they didn't have to sell to buy.
Well, the thing is, to get your situation out there. That's why I've got a job, and there's not an algorithm that can do my job. I've got to hear everything you want. What are your goals? And then navigate that process for you. And I've been doing this for 30 years in busy markets, slow markets. And here's what's funny is we don't know when the brakes are going to get pumped. Interest rates obviously will have an effect. And
They already are.
Here's what the talking heads say is a slowdown in the real estate market.
No, they actually are saying it's a crash right now because it dropped by 2%.
Yeah. No, this was the number of homes that got multiple offers in this part of one state were down 2%. So they're saying there's a crash coming. So it just amazes me. And that's why I will interpret your market, which isn't just a Central Florida market. Usually it's the homes around you for a couple of miles, maybe.
Sure.
And unless you're like a big lakefront home or a mega mansion. Or golf front, what are other golf fronts going for? But usually, if you're in a subdivision, we want to look at that subdivision and what's around it too. We've got some very interesting ones because there's not a lot. People are a little stuck right now. Sometimes there's not a lot of sales, so you don't know where to put things.
Sure.
And believe it or not, of all the homes on the market, Bruce, 10% every month
don't sell.
Give up, and that's even in this incredible market. And I can look at them usually and walk through, and I get these phone calls every week. And go walk through and tell them, okay, this is what was done wrong. Here's how we fix it. What do you think? And they're like, oh my gosh, this is what we need to do.
And it's not always lowering the price.
Oh, no.
Oftentimes it's not.
I'd say
90%
of the time it's not. It's in presentation and marketing.
Yeah. Well, what happens is I think when you guys are out there and choosing your real estate agent, I often hear people putting their biggest financial investment in the hands of an inexperienced real estate agent, somebody that they met at a cocktail party or their wife's bridge partner or their husband's golfing buddy. And you think they're good, but they're not that great. And they're not fighting for you. They're lay down. It's like attorneys that say they'll fight for you, but they always settle. Well, right? They always settle. They're not really going to fight for you. They tell you they're going to fight for you, but they just settle.
And I just had an appointment a couple weeks ago, and I showed the seller that I average about 102, 103% of sales price. If it's listed for 500, I'm getting 520. And they told me the other person they were talking to that was a discount broker, and I said, okay, well they've sold 5 homes last year
because we can pull up.
I sold
numbers.
that last week. And they get about 99% of asking in the hottest market in 15 years. So there's ways to look at these things. And it's funny, 75% of all stats are made up. But I can show you the way things apply, and I can give you references on that. I've got a 50-point staging checklist to get you more money. That right there, Bruce, it's free. I'll send it to you. And it's just basically decluttering. People have so much stuff in our community, and Amazon's enabling us because we can have all this junk dropped off at our front door and stuff we don't use. But you've got to have the house neutralized to set up so the buyer looks at it and can imagine themselves in the home.
Not you.
Not what the heck have you been doing here for 10 years,
right.
15 years.
20 years, right?
And phone numbers, Bruce.
407-250-9144 for the Loan Arranger. That's 407-250-9144. Or visit my website and apply online at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. All right, so there's a couple of things that I found were interesting because, Cleve, I was talking to some folks the other day that, some people are getting scared because interest rates are going up, and can they still afford the home? I pre-qualified them when rates were at 3.99, and now they're at 5.1, 5.5, depending on credit score. So can you still qualify for that? So I want to put this in perspective. Let's just take a $300,000 loan amount. Okay, not purchase price, just a loan amount.
Yep.
If interest rates go up 1%, and I used an analogy, if we were at 5.5 now, and they go up to 6.5, how much do you think that raises the payment?
$200.
Almost exactly. It's $193.
Yep.
Now, let's take a different stage, and let's just say the rate remains the same, and we're at 5.5. But the house goes up $50,000. How much do you think that went up?
$400.
$316. So
yep.
I looked at that and I went, that was kind of eye-opening for me that the rate it's less than half the impact of what the cost of the house is. And houses are going up.
Yep.
So that's money in your pocket.
Well,
right?
Nobody's going to get, and it's funny, I've had this out with some financial planners saying, well, I've got some people, I'm just going to make them sell and sit on the sidelines. And I'm like, okay, if they're in a 10,000 square foot, $1.5 million home or $2 million home somewhere, maybe that's a good idea and they're going to downsize. But, what they buy, I mean, don't pay rent.
No.
If you're 70, 80, 90 and you want to go into assisted living and
We don't
possibly
need to
that's the
be
thing, you
Elon
have
Musk and couch surf.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Does he do that?
Yes, he does.
That's funny.
He
Yeah.
does not
I
own.
heard
He owns a lot of property, just doesn't own a house.
He divested himself of all of his houses. Yeah, I saw some of them. They were nice. But anyway, now you made me forget what I was
Sorry.
talking about. That's all right. But it's important to get out there and just not pay rent. But I don't think this is going to dip. And if you're not buying a house, you think, okay, I'm definitely getting transferred in 2 years. Okay, then let's talk about it. Let's look at the numbers.
Right.
But I've got a lot of people right now. They're excited. I'm turning them into landlords. And they're excited.
That's
'cause
exciting.
They're moving. They're like, well, I could cash in, but my payment's $1,800. It's going to rent for $2,700.
Oh, no kidding. Right now, if you're in, and look we're predicting, and this is not my predictions, these are national predictions, that the Central Florida market is going to go from a median sales price of $369 to $640 by 2025, 2026.
So that's, let's say, 4 years on the outside. 4 years.
Even if it's 5.
I think that's. I
think
think
that-
that's
you think that's-
exuberant. I think
you
that's,
do?
I do, but I see us moving higher because this is what I got to check it on the break. I'll commercial break. I'll check it. We got one coming up in a bit. We are moving from number 20 most expensive state in the union. I think we're moving to number 15.
Maybe even higher than that.
And because we are better than New England. We have less taxes.
We're better
we
than
don't have
California.
state income tax.
A little
We're better
bit
than
more
we're
humidity,
way better than
but-
California. Nobody's going to come over and steal your gas lawnmower until you got to buy an electric one.
Right.
We are just a better state, and COVID amplified that. And I'd love to see those stats on what's going on here. But people come here going, wow, this is really, really affordable. And you can't go many other places and get something less expensive.
No.
Unless you're like out in the Midwest.
Right.
The Gulf Coast, Alabama, Mississippi, maybe New Orleans. So,
Maybe.
Very interesting time.
How do they reach you?
407-352-8118 for all your real estate news and all your real estate needs. And when we come back, Bruce, I got a couple listings.
Yeah, okay. And you can always reach the Loan Arranger. You got questions about interest rate loan programs, construction loans, specialty loans for first responders and healthcare workers, any of those questions, give the Loan Arranger a call at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Or visit my website at webringyouhome.com.
How much time we got?
We've got about 2 minutes.
Okay. Funny here, I got some predictions from one of these guys, and this guy actually seems to know what he's doing. She, Daniela, I thought it was Daniel, Genovese at Fox Business, talking about housing market predictions. Basically going over some stats, talking about how it's going to cool slowly, which is what I see with the interest rates the way they are.
Yep.
But still, very, very short supply. One thing about, people buying up all the resales is because the builders can't build homes. Now, part of it is
Right.
supply chain. Part of it was interest rates. When they dropped to 2%, people are like, wow, I need to buy something. Plus, my house has gone up. I can move and not really take any money out of my savings account. I'm just changing one house for another. But the builders are so far behind because in 2008, 9, 10, they stopped building because they got caught holding so much inventory.
Sure.
A lot of them went out of business. And so the whole country, I think the number is like 5 million units down in new construction.
That's a
is
lot.
what we're missing nationwide.
I heard it's going to take 10 years just for the builders to catch up on today's demand.
Well, I think when the rates rise and people have bought what they're going to buy, I think that will cool.
You think that changed when the rates went up? Because that was a NAR, that was a National Association of Realtor posting that they said that. So I think you're right. As rates rise, that will shorten that time period because it's going to slow the market down.
All right. And so when we come back, I got a couple listings and a couple other things
All
I
right,
want to
give
talk
out
about.
your number then.
407-352-8118 or lovelandreport.com.
Yeah, or the Loan Arranger, Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage, 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com, webringyouhome.com. Cleveland, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Stay tuned. We got some important things to bring you up to speed on when it comes to your biggest financial investment. Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Radio Show with Cleve Loveland, Loveland Properties, and Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage, the Loan Arranger. here where we talk about how to save money when buying real estate, selling real estate, questions you may have regarding a real estate transaction. What are interest rates doing? What is your biggest investment doing? How do we capitalize on this market? How do we navigate a crazy market with a lack of inventory? Cleve and I answer all your questions when it pertains to your real estate needs. He is the longest lasting real estate agent, real estate show in the history of mankind.
That's right. And on the radio.
There is no
That's
more.
it.
There is
That's
no
it.
longer one.
There's been many that have come and gone since I've been on. And what's funny is they get on the air and they try and sell. And if people want to watch an infomercial, they'll go home and turn on the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah.
They'll go watch the OxyClean commercial. We give you all your real estate news. Real quick, Bruce, before the bottom of the hour, I got some listings here I want to talk about. I got some really neat ones. We're talking about the median price in Orlando for a house is about $360, $365. I've got a condominium, waterfront, lakefront on Lake Howell at
Nice.
$278,000. It's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Now
That's
it
nice.
is, let's say, well cared for, original owner.
Right.
Not been updated much,
Right.
but a couple of them updated have sold in the 300s. I got it at 278, and it's 1,600 square feet, and you've got parking.
It's a 3-2
2.5. Yep.
with parking.
And then beautiful lakefront views from your kitchen, your dining room, your family room, the master bedroom, one of the other bedrooms. So,
and that's got good schools too. You got.
Oh,
I
you're
think,
Seminole
Lake-
County.
Yeah.
You're in Sausalito. That's where my first house was. In fact, I cried when I drove by it because if I would have kept the darn thing, it'd be worth 3 times.
Do we
what I
know
sold.
if it's FHA or conventional approved?
I'm going to get with you on that because
Yeah, let's pull that up. Make
it's
sure.
mostly owner occupied. So isn't that just a
Yep, it should be a pretty easy deal then.
okay to get it approved? So then I've got 10 acres with a garage on it, big massive garage in Pearson, north of De Leon Springs, and this is 10 acres. There's a mobile home on it. Not worth it. The mobile home needs to be hauled off. But the 10 acres with a garage, this is an estate sale for $299. And then I've got $1.8 million on the Sand Lake chain with a beautiful skyline of the Orlando Eye, Point Orlando. You're looking at all the lights over there, Disney fireworks and SeaWorld.
Beautiful.
Disney fireworks out the front porch, SeaWorld fireworks out the back porch, and Universal fireworks looking down your neighbor's over your neighbor's fence. But beautiful 6-bedroom, 5-bath with a bonus, with a study, double masters, upstairs and downstairs, pool, boat dock for $1.8 million. On the Sand Lake chain. And then I've got in US 1 in Cocoa, I've got a commercial parcel with 5 acres and a 2,000 square foot building. Be great for like a storage center.
How much is that one?
That'll be $1.2 million. Excuse me,
Okay.
$1.25
And
million.
it's 5 acres?
5 acres.
What's on the 5 acres?
It's all it's just land. It's just woods.
land.
It's not even woods. It's just orange trees and scrub.
Okay.
Easily cleared.
What's it zoned for right now?
Well, it's like a C1 zoning. So,
Okay.
yeah, to do a storage lot, a boat storage lot, I think you're thinking like
Yeah.
I'm thinking. But anyway, you got any questions about these listings, call me at 407-352-8118.
Or if you have questions for the Lone Ranger about financing anything that we've talked about, including jumbo, super jumbo, or mobile homes for that matter, construction perms, you name it, we got it. I've got every type of conventional loan you could possibly think of. We can make sure that we design a loan program to meet your needs. Cleve was asking me if adjustable rates are starting to come back in, and they're starting to. But if you have questions, I'm seeing a lot of people trying to convince people to do adjustable rates right now. Just be cautious. Listen, I went through the time period when lenders were pushing arms, and I'm going to tell you something, they got a lot of people in trouble. A lot of people in trouble.
Well, that's part of the bubble.
That was part of the bubble.
Evil
so
option arms.
don't let history repeat itself with your bank account. Stay safe. Rates will eventually come back down. We can refinance. When I start selling adjustable rates, you'll know the time is right.
And most likely that would be a 10-1 arm or a 7-1 arm.
7-1
Locked for 10
arm,
a year.
yep.
Yeah, because then
Yep.
if housing changes, then you can refinance, people move.
All right, what's your phone number?
407-352-8118.
Or the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. Be back in 5 minutes.
And we are back on the Loveland Report. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, alongside the Lone Ranger. Done more loans than most. I mean, in 1 week, he does more loans than most loan reps do in a month.
Probably
In
a year.
Probably a year. So anyway, talking about the housing market, what's going on right now, getting news from around the country. I talk to realtors from around the country, just like you talk to loan reps around the country.
Sure.
And it's funny, they are still, everybody's got it. Believe it or not, some people have it worse than we do, folks. They're making $50,000 non-refundable buyer concessions on houses.
Yep.
If we don't buy the house, you get half our
Waive
deposit.
the appraisal, waive the
Waive the
inspection.
inspection, things like that. Fighting 30, 40 offers, listed for 700, sells for 899. And it's just people coming here. We're so affordable, but I think a lot of people have bought what they want. It's just this market, I think, will slowly grind itself out and slow down.
Well, it's going to slow down. I mean,
We'll give
but
you
we're
the
not
numbers.
gonna,
As inventory climbs, we'll see it.
We'll see it, and as rates continue to climb. So it's funny because how long did I tell everybody buy now, refinance now, rates are going up? And here's the thing: rates stayed low longer than I would have anticipated.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had a family member come into town, and he's like, God, I remember you telling people like 2 years ago that rates were going to rise. And he says, man, you're still telling them that. And I'm like, and they're rising faster and faster and faster.
Long-time listeners of the show probably might not notice it, but I stopped saying rates can't go any lower about 10 years ago.
Yes.
We dropped into the fours, or maybe 7, 8 years
And
ago.
they did.
And I stopped saying they can't go any lower. And I just
Right.
can't believe it. But the main thing about this, no matter what the rate is, Bruce, if you need to make a move, have somebody in your corner. Most people have a financial planner. They've got an estate attorney. I'm a real estate planner. I can help you with your hopes and dreams on real estate or what might be going on. You inherit mom and dad's house. Call me. We can talk about it. What's going on with that? Is that a good rental to keep? Or what are you going to do with the money? I see what works and what doesn't, and I've got customers that are millionaires and own 10 homes, own 20 homes, own 30 homes, and I see what they do with their wealth. I know what works and what won't. Cracks me up when I hear about these seminars. Come learn how to buy real estate with nobody's money,
Right.
all those things. Or people flipping homes that say, I've got I think 5 of my landlords, Bruce, were going to be home flippers. And did it wrong,
Right.
But now they're landlords.
Well,
making
even
money.
these things where you join a seminar, you pay $1,500, you buy the CDs, the 8-track tapes, and the cassettes, and you
Yep.
come home with a beautiful booklet, and you paid $1,500 to acquire property without borrowing money. But you actually are borrowing money because the guy that puts on the seminar fronts the money, and it's like hard money.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So you're paying, and you're paying dearly. And what he's done is it's actually genius because they're training you to be a bird dog for them, essentially.
Yeah, basically it is. I see that all the time. But the important thing is have a realtor like me that you can call at 407-352-8118, and I can help you with what's right and what's wrong. I just talked to somebody about their parents' homes. They thought they're getting elderly. They actually own 3 homes. 2 of them are rentals. They're in one. They know they need to go to assisted living probably this year. And I said, well, why are you selling? Do they need the money? He goes, oh, no, they got plenty of money. Assisted living's paid for. I said, well, let me look at the rentals. I looked at them. The rentals were like $500 each below market on rent. And the leases had just been renewed in the last 2 to 3 months. So that's a property manager not checking the market. So, and then when I talk to anybody out there about what you're doing with a rental, okay, and we talk about this in our real estate mastery class and leapfrogging, if the house pays you $2,500 in rent and your mortgage payment is $1,500, that $1,000 a month pays the mortgage.
Yes.
And pays it down and pays
Yes.
it off. It doesn't go shopping
put
with
it in
you
your
at the
pocket.
It doesn't go shopping with you at the Millennium Mall.
No, you want to use that as your retirement. There's your 401k. There's your IRA. There's your generational wealth. And if you have questions about that, get into our next class. You can visit my website and check out our schedule at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. If you are concerned about interest rates rising, which everybody seems to be less concerned about the interest rates than you are about the home prices rising. Because if interest rates rise by 1%, it's going to cost you about $193 a month more. If house goes up by $50,000, it costs you $315 more, which is worse.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is you're going to get double whammied because you're going to get the 1% increase and you're going to get the $50,000 increase if you wait. So that's $509 a month for the same house more. Buy now, you're going to make money. And when I see people saying, I'm going to sit on the sidelines and wait it out, you are going to sit on the sidelines, you're going to pay more, and then you're going to like it even less when interest rates are 10.5%.
Well, I know a guy who's still living. Well, he's not living in his parents' basement, but I know a guy that when everything fell apart 12 years ago, he's like, well, I'm not going to buy again. I was talking to him 5 years later, and I short sold some properties. I'm like, you need to get back in. I said, it's fine. You need to live somewhere. He's still in his dad's basement or his dad's bonus room. And it's just, and that's one retirement scenario, but it's not one I recommend.
No, it's
you
not.
Still don't control your destiny in something.
There is no rich renter.
And you're not. And if you're a single guy, you'll probably be a single guy for a long time.
Probably. There's probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
There's probably a reason for that. If you'd like to reach Cleve, he can be reached at 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118. The Loan Arranger, arranging loans all over the state of Florida and any state in the union at 407-250-9144, or apply online at WeBringYouHome.com. Couple of reasons I think people should jump in the market. Think about this, Cleve. If you get into the market right now and your house goes up just at about 20% over a year on a $300,000 transaction, you made 60 grand. Okay?
Well, yep.
All right? You made 60 grand.
Yep.
And even if it went up half that amount, you made 30 grand.
Yep.
Where conversely, if you rent and you're paying $2,500 a month in rent,
you're
30. Going downhill.
That's a 60 grand swing.
That's a $60,000, which net is a $120,000 swing.
Oh, it cracks me up talking to these people that think they're just, and it's funny when I sit in a room full of buyers, it's like there's all these big eyes, they're scared.
I've never,
like, once somebody does it, they are so happy and it's so easy.
You're right. And I've never met a poor land baron. Okay. Yeah. Like, you don't go, well, he's a land baron. He's broke. Guy's got no money. No, listen, money is made in real estate. You're going to make more money in real estate than you are in your 401k, your IRA, and what you save. I can promise you.
But when you get to be 70 and you have 5 homes that are just about paid for, 3 are paid for and 2 have small mortgage balances, and they've gone up almost double in price from the first one you bought, that money going to your financial planner when you're in your 60s or 70s will definitely set you up for a nice living. The main thing is you've got to be saving some money each month and be in control of your finances, Bruce. I mean, you probably see some people where if they didn't have 3 car payments and high monthly living expenses, they could buy more house, right?
Absolutely, they can buy more house. And listen, we don't need to have 20% to put down to buy more and more property. If you follow our Leapfrog program, I'll show you how to get into your first house with 3 to 5% down and every house after that with only 5% down. I'll show you how you can accumulate 5 properties faster than your neighbor that wants to put 20% down and avoid PMI can acquire 2. You can have 5. And you're going to grow much faster.
I want to ask you real quick, Bruce. Vacation homes. I know they raised the interest rates on those, didn't they? People
so Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the end of March, implemented what's called a loan level pricing adjustment, which basically means a bump in your pricing, because second homes were generally priced pretty close to a primary residence when it came to interest rate. Investment properties are higher. Okay, usually about a half a point higher in rate and about a point higher in points.
Now, you guys did a loan on this. One of our customers bought something for Airbnb. Did that qualify? Was that investment, or did you buy it as a second home? What's the difference there? Because if you buy something and you're able to rent it, how do you qualify that?
Well, if you're going to rent it, then you have to go investment. If you're going to live in it as your private personal vacation home, then you could buy it as second. So why do you think Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac raised the pricing on second homes? Because there was fraud going on.
Okay.
It was rampant.
Yeah.
Amongst lenders, realtors, buyers. So what they were doing is they were buying as second homes, getting the better interest rate, and turning around and putting it in Airbnb.
Yeah.
And so Fannie Mae went, we can't fight it.
I've seen so the pricing's higher.
So they raised it up, and now it's the same as investment.
News outlets and the platforms I get most of my news from all talking about how homeowners are fighting investors pushing into the suburbs and buying too many homes. And, one thing you got to be careful of, you buy a house for investment and you think you're going to be an Airbnb baron, check the HOA docs. Make sure you can rent out weekly or daily. Some people do that. I mean, other condominium complexes have like 2-month limits, 3-month limits, or seasonal, or 7-month. We've got 7-month limits on leases on most properties in Orange County if it's in a subdivision.
Another thing people don't realize is, whenever something seems like it's good, it's probably not so good. And I'll give you an example. So it's like people pull their credit on Credit Karma because it's free.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think they do it for free? Do you think they can advertise every other minute on TV for free?
Yep.
You know where that is called? That's a data mining company.
Oh, yeah.
And when you get your credit report pulled for free, they sell it. Now, I use that analogy because 1/3 of the properties that are sold in America right now are by cash buyers or these iBuyer companies. Some of them are flipping them and selling them, but many of them are renting them out. Do you know why they're doing that? So they can acquire massive amounts of properties, and then they can control the pricing of the market. So if you think your prices are going up and these iBuyer companies are, oh my God, I love the offer pad, Maxi offer pad, whatever it is that is going to pay cash for my property and I don't have to have anybody through it, they're going to put you out of market.
Well, they're also those offers. I mean, they sound great. And, oh my gosh, showing my home is so difficult. It's not.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult. But is it worth 30% of your equity, 25% of your equity? Because that's probably what will get you more than they will get all the time.
Yes,
they've
for
got
sure.
their fees. They've got their low balls. They've got their backpedaling. Seriously, tell me. I just had somebody tell me that somebody made them an offer, and then it was low compared to what I would give them. They never came to look at his house. They did not look at it. They just looked at the algorithms and the pricing evaluators online, and they made an offer. And I guarantee you, when I saw this house, it needed some work.
Right.
And I guarantee you, I'm like, did you send them any pictures on that? He goes, no. I said, well, I guarantee you they're going to backpedal and backpedal more. But even with the
Once
work,
they do the inspection.
even with the work needed, I got him 10% above what that offer was after all just listing it with a realtor.
That's amazing. Hey, if you'd like to reach Cleve, he can be reached at
407-352-8118 or lovelandreport.com.
Yeah, or you can reach the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. We got about 2 minutes, Cleve.
All right. We talked about needing a real estate planner. I do want to talk about something going on in property management. I mentioned some people that had way below market rents. When I got into property management, I've always owned properties for 25 years. I've owned other investment properties. I started managing properties about right during the bubble when things were falling apart. Because what I saw was people not taking care of the properties, not checking them out to make sure they're being maintained, not collecting rent on time, not collecting late fees on time. And then the other thing was I managed those properties and also help the owner manage their expectations of what's going on. Every year twice a year, we talk about what's the value on the property. Do you need to sell it? Okay, if you sold it and you walked away with $100,000 and you gave that to your financial advisor, how much is he going to make that on you? Are you going to pay off some other debt? What are your goals? Because when I do that with them, they're like, oh, okay, I see my plan here. I've got a plan. And I've just had some people come to me and like person I just mentioned, their rents were like $500 on two different homes, $500 a month below market on rent. That's $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year.
That's right.
But I had somebody wanting to sell a property. They were only going to net about $60,000. And I said, well, look at your mortgage. Your mortgage is going to go down over the next year, the X amount of dollars. And the value is probably going to go up. Let's say it just goes up 10 or 15%. You're going to double what you're going to get.
For sure.
Just waiting one more year. And you're getting a tax break on it right now because of your income. Ask your CPA about that. So there's all kinds of different advantages, not just the cash flow on this and the retirement benefits if you're going to keep them that long.
Well, that's what we do. We educate our buyers and sellers so that they make the right decision.
And they can reach us at 407-352-8118 for Loveland Properties.
Or the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. What's that?
How much we got left?
20 seconds.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll be back after this.
All right. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Radio Show. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Radio Show with Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage. I am the Lone Ranger, helping people arrange loans night and day and night, weekdays, weekends, holidays, whatever, you name it, I'm arranging loans. And then you got your friend Cleve Loveland, one of the very best in real estate, the longest lasting real estate show in the history of the planet. And Cleve can be reached at 407-352-8118, 407-352-8118, or he can be reached on his website at thelovelandreport.com. All of us are here to answer your questions. We truly appreciate you tuning in to our show. It means a lot to us that you take time out of your busy Saturday when you have so many things going on. But we also really appreciate referring friends and family to us.
Well, that's right. I mean, you and I help people every day of the week just about. And it's funny, despite our immense talent on the radio, we don't get paid for this.
No, we don't get paid for this.
We pay heftily to do this show every weekend. And it's just, I enjoy helping people with this. I faint when I see a lot of blood, so I couldn't have been a doctor.
Right.
And I can't think of anything besides delivering a baby or saving a life, getting somebody into a house, and helping them with
gratifying.
that. And it's just making sure that, but the process can be scary. And I just had somebody, they were terrified. They had so much stuff. Well, we got Dave Lowe over for the estate sale. They didn't know how to move. I got a mover to give them a bid. And they have a bad back, so they didn't know how about packing things, and the mover will do that for them.
Right.
I got them somebody to help organize when they unpack. They're going from 4,500 square feet to 1,800 square feet.
So if somebody needs somebody, they're going through a state, or they just have a lot of stuff they need to get rid of, you have a source that we really like, Dave Lowe of
Estate Sales Orlando.
Orlando.com.
Clutter is one of the biggest things I see most people have.
Easiest thing.
And what's funny is, painting the house or fixing up the yard is going to cost you a little bit of money. But an estate sale is going to make you money.
Sure.
I've seen him surprise people with what he's gotten for things, because it's not the garage sale where people are trying to offer you $2 and then they, for your 38-inch, TV you had hanging on the wall on the back porch. It's just, you'll get some good money out of that you can use towards marketing, staging the home.
Or you can use it toward painting your house or doing whatever.
Because staging, I have people usually spending about 1 or 2% of the value of their home. And what I think in their minds, most of the time, they think they need to spend 5 to 10%, which is not true.
No, it isn't true. If you'd like to reach Cleve, he can be reached at
407-352-8118.
Or if you'd like to talk to the Loan Arranger, I've got more mortgage programs than any other lender I've known in the history of the planet. I've been in the business for 33 years. I've closed over 10,000 transactions. I don't tell you that to impress you. I tell you that to impress upon you that other people have followed, and I'd like you to come with me. I can promise you, there is no lender around that you will talk to that will care more about your needs and give you more honest direction on how to make the biggest financial decision of your life. You got me here. That's what I'm here for. A local boy right here in Central Florida. 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. What are you looking for? Special programs for teachers, law enforcement, first responder, educators. What about veterans? I got VA loans up to $1.5 million with no money down. I've got VA construction to perm, FHA construction to perm, conventional construction perm, rehabs. Maybe you can find a house that is kind of a dump, but it's in a decent neighborhood and it needs work.
The 10-acre place I mentioned in Pearson for $299,900. The trailer needs to be hauled off, but you could build a beautiful home on that lot.
You can do a construction perm on that lot.
You can do a construction perm on that lot.
For 10 acres, if you're out there and you've got a landscaping business or something you need some vehicles stored in, and maybe you just have a lot of toys, what a great opportunity. How much was that property again?
Only $299,900. Then you build your house for $300,000, $400,000.
Listen, thank you for listening to us today. We appreciate you. Don't forget to tune into my show, The Loan Arranger Radio Show, tomorrow, same station at 11 a.m. You can reach me at 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve?
Loveland Properties for the 3 most important things in real estate. Love land, love land, love land. 407-352-8118.